Hi, Chelsea Gilson here, and welcome to my skinny kitchen. So it's fall, and what do we want in fall? I want apple crisp, I want some really home-cooked, oats, some comfort foods. So today I'm going to do a bit of a hack with you. I'm going to call it apple crunch because it's not quite apple crisp. It's kind of my version of like an apple granola. No added sugar, but I do put a little bit of grade B maple syrup in. So first what I did is I chopped up maybe 4 or 5 medium-sized red apples. And I like to use baking apples, usually a mixture, whatever is on sale. So I just cut them up into cubes like this. I also always add 1 green Granny Smith apple. I feel like this really gives it, even in a regular apple pie too, I feel like the tartness of it, of 1, really gives it a unique flavor. It's kind of like, I don't know, finding a nice little surprise bite in there. So I'll chop this up into the same size pieces. And then while I'm doing this, I'll tell you a little bit about this apple crunch. So for me, this is kind of an end-all be-all recipe. I can eat this for dessert, I can have it as a snack, I can have it with breakfast with Greek yogurt. It's really good warm right out of the oven with some frozen kefir or some frozen Greek yogurt or something like that. It's a really nice dessert. But it's also great in the morning. It's kind of like a little bit of a granola too. So we'll chop these all up. Perfect. And like all my recipes, it's not a science. These are definitely not a follow exactly kind of recipes. You can use whatever you have. If you have a pear, I always try to throw pears in or something like that if I have one. Even throwing berries in, especially blackberries, are really good in this recipe. So the apples are cut. I'm going to leave them to the side. Now I'm going to take the dish that I'm actually going to be baking in, which is just a pan, a square pan, and this is where I'm going to mix everything else, and then I'll add the apples after. So I'm going to start with some old-fashioned oats, and I'm going to do quite a bit, so maybe, I don't know, I would say like 2 cups of oats. Maybe a cup and a half. But I mean, the pan is pretty much filled. And I had some craisins left in here from a previous baking thing. But I'm also going to add some regular fresh cranberries too. It doesn't matter if you don't have any. I'm just going to add, a couple, just a sprinkle of them. Maybe a 4th cup. These are great because they burst right in the oven. I'm also going to add, I have these little Trader Joe's snack mixes. In one, I just have it's like some berries and some nuts and some craisins. And the other one is kind of like a granola yogurt blend. It really doesn't matter what you have. I actually prefer to add pecans in, but I don't have any right now. But I like to add some kind of nuts for a little bit of a crunch. And these can always be added later too. So after this comes out of the oven and I've had time to go to the store, I'll probably add some crushed pecans in there. But again, anything that you have works. Dark chocolate also obviously goes good in this because dark chocolate goes good in any dessert. So if you wanted to throw some dark chocolate in there, that works. If you had a special cereal that you really like that's healthy, you could throw some of that in there. Anything you have that's going to give it a nice crunch works good. Okay, good. So both of those are in there. And then I'm going to take, I have a small clementine. Definitely not necessary to use an orange or a clementine. Lemon works just as good, but I just had one, so I figured I would use it. Orange and apple really pair nice together. And the orange pairs really good with cinnamon. I mean, it's such a fall favorite to put the 2 together. So I'll do that right onto it. And I'll just juice both sides of it. And luckily, these don't have any seeds, but you really want to make sure to catch the seeds if you use a lemon or a bigger orange. And for me, you can't really overdo it with the orange flavor. So if you used a full-size big orange, it's going to come out good too. And then I also have a little lemon right here too. That's kind of old, so I'm just going to see how it looks. Yeah, I'll just use 1/2 of this lemon that I have right here, squeeze it in. I got rid of all the seeds. Give it a nice little squeeze. And again, this is a really little lemon, but using a squeeze of lemon is always great. Fresh lemon, or if you don't have it fresh, doesn't really matter. Okay, now for the fun stuff. I'm going to take some coconut oil, and coconut oil is really great. I mean, this is something that you should be cooking with all the time. It has a higher heating temperature, so it's actually better to use a lot of times than olive oil. And it has a really nice sweet flavor to it, so it's great for baking. And it's versatile. I mean, it really goes with anything. Not to mention the health benefits. There are health rumors, that it can speed up your metabolism because it gives you more energy and helps you burn calories faster. I don't know if that's true. I feel like it could or couldn't be, but I know that it is a good monosaturated fat, and it has been proven to, or there are studies that show that diets that are rich in coconut oil those people are more healthy. I did read that study. Again, you can't believe everything that you read, especially these studies, but I believe that coconut oil is a great addition to any diet. I mean, it's a staple in my pantry, and I use it for everything. So I'm going to do a big heaping tablespoon of it. And I'll just plop that on top because I'm going to mix everything together in a second. Alright, and then I like to add some peanut butter. I think peanut butter goes great with anything. It's one of my favorite foods. This peanut butter that I'm using is crunchy peanut butter with flax and chia seeds. Both are great health benefits that you should be incorporating in your diet if you can. For the peanut butter, I'll do like 1 big tablespoon too. And I'll just plop that right in the middle. Alright, and then you can use honey if you'd like, you can use anything that you'd like, but I'm going to use grade B maple syrup. I'm using grade B organic because I have read that there's more minerals and therefore it is more healthy for you than regular maple syrup. But let's not forget that a 1/4 cup of maple syrup has 53 grams of sugar. So whether or not that's healthy and natural sugar or not, it's still sugar, and sugar still turns into fat. So I'm going to use like literally just a smidge of this, just because I think that the maple syrup flavor really brings out, it's like fall. That's what it reminds you of. So just a sprinkle, and then I'm going to mix it all together. And it doesn't have to be a perfect mix. What I like to do is, make sure that the peanut butter and the coconut oil get kind of spread out. But other than that, everything doesn't have to marry everything else. If one corner doesn't have as many craisins, sorry about that, if one corner doesn't have as many craisins or something like that, it's not going to make a difference in the end. So mix it all up. Okay, yeah, this looks good. And actually, you know what? I used so much oats that I actually might end up putting a little bit more peanut butter in this. I really like the flavor of the peanut butter. It brings out a little bit more of a breakfast feel to me. But if you really want to make it as a dessert, then you might want to just stick with it how it is. All right. So it's all mixed up. And something that I also had in my cabinet that I'm going to throw in is I did have some flax seeds, really high in fiber. Great for you. Tons of minerals and vitamins in here. Something to definitely add to your health list. I already had them, that's why I'm going to put them in, but they offer a little bit of a crunch, so I'll just sprinkle some on there, probably like a teaspoon. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add our apple pieces. And instead of like a traditional apple crisp where the apple slices go on the bottom, I like to add them right on the top and then mix them around a little bit after. Yeah, just a good mix. And get some of the crunch on top. We are going to take this out of the oven halfway through, and we're going to check on it, and we're going to give it another big mix so that we can make sure that everything is distributed evenly. But here we go. And again, the good thing with this recipe is that it's really filling. It has a lot of fiber, the oats and and apples by themselves are really filling, and the flaxseed is really filling. It's really a nutritional powerhouse. And then when you add the coconut oil and some of the fruit and nuts, you've got a really nice meal here. Okay, and then I'm going to do something that, again, is definitely not necessary, but I had some frozen bananas. Every time that my bananas start to go, I pop them in the freezer. So I had some frozen bananas in there. I'm just going to chop them up into really small pieces and add those in. Banana adds a nice flavor to everything, and it's pretty high sugar content. So it gets some natural sugars in there. It's going to make everything a little bit sweeter. And the frozen bananas are nice because they really mash up nice. So it's like really nice and easy to spread them. So I'll throw in maybe, I'll do a full banana because we used a lot today. So yeah, the way that I do with the frozen bananas though is I always unpeel them first. I think that that's the trick that I learned and what you should definitely stick to. So when your banana starts to get a little bit browner, you don't think you're going to be able to eat it right away, or if you just want to freeze some, they make a really good snack anyways. I'll throw them in the freezer, but I just make sure that I unpeel them first, and then I throw them in a Ziploc bag or a glass container. All right, good. So I'll mix in the banana. And then for my favorite part, is I go really crazy on the cinnamon. I use 4 big teaspoons of cinnamon. It depends how much you like the spice. I think that you can never really have too much of cinnamon. So I'm going to do a once over all across the top. And then I will do a stir, and I'll do it just again. And I like to add the cinnamon last. I like it to stick to everything, especially the apple pieces and everything like that. So a lot of cinnamon. And then just a sprinkle of nutmeg. I love the smell of nutmeg, I think, even more than the taste. So I just do a little sprinkle. If you have pumpkin pie spice or another spice that you really like to use, you can add that. So a big spur. All right. And then one more big sprinkle. I told her I really love cinnamon. This is not necessary if you're not as big of a cinnamon fan as I am, but I love the way it makes your house smell too. Okay, great. So this is what we've got. We've got it. I'm going to just pack it down a little bit. So it looks like this. And then I'm going to throw it in the oven. I've got the oven set to 375 degrees. I'm going to put this in for like 25 minutes. The oven. And it already smells so incredible. The whole house smells so good. I'm just going to give it a little bit of stir so that some of the granola that's stuck on or some of the oats that are stuck on the bottom of the apples can make their way to the top. And you're going to notice that the apples are already starting to lose a little bit of their, they're getting a little bit more tender, starting to melt into everything. You probably won't see any banana pieces left if you added the banana, because those really melt in nice with everything. And while I have it out, I was thinking during our break that this is a good time to add apple cider vinegar to it. Anytime that I can add apple cider vinegar to any recipe, I add it. It has incredible health benefits. It aids with digestion. It's been proven to help you lose weight. It is great to warding off colds and diseases and helping with allergies and sneezing and all this other stuff. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit. And the thing with apple cider vinegar is I'm very used to it because I cook with it so frequently. So I'm used to the taste of it and how powerful it is. So I can add a little bit more for this recipe and for somebody that doesn't normally use apple cider vinegar, although you should start using it right away. And I use the organic unfiltered. There we go, I'll pull it back a little bit. And so I'm just going to use just a little splash of it right on the top. I mean, probably, honestly, like a tablespoon and not any more, because I don't want it to overpower any of the flavors. There we go. And it almost is like getting a little bit of an oatmeal consistency, and that's good. We're going to put it in for another Let's do another 20 minutes and we'll check on it then. And we just want to see if it's getting kind of crunchy because that's the outcome that we're looking for.